Today, we are running the episode about AI tools for growth and productivity, how Zefi.ai is working, the goal of transforming users' voice into value. What does that mean?
We create value from customer feedback. That means, first of all, bringing together all the conversations that a company has with their clients, and then structure all this unstructured data in order to give insights on the product and customer experience. We really believe in continuous discovery, so in making never settle the product team, the customer experience team in the challenge of creating perfect experiences. AI can be actually one of your resources to all the things that you can do, the back office things, the things that are not customer facing. They can be automated so that then you have more time to dedicate to your team.
It was an interview about Sam Altman, and he mentions that the power of AI lies in not into replacing humans or doing something different. It's more on amplifying the human creativity. Where are we going with this type of businesses? 10 years from now, what is going to happen with this?
Hello and welcome to Pitch Lab, a podcast with a pitch, powered by Friends of Bata, where entrepreneurs from all over the world with different backgrounds, styles, and businesses share their failures and their passion for entrepreneurship and impact. I am your host, Enrique, a Mexican-Swiss entrepreneur who spent over 20 years building, breaking, and backing startups around the world. Pitch Lab is your safe space for honest and unfiltered conversations about what it really takes to build something from scratch, and to share epic failures and glorious mess. Where Gen Z founders with fresh ideas connect with millennial entrepreneurs who have been through the trenches and they don't hold back. Today's episode is called AI for Growth and Creativity with Aurora. So let's dive in. Follow me.
Today, we are running the episode about AI tools for growth and productivity. Without more, I'm going to introduce you to our guest. Aurora is an Italian superstar founder. She's the CEO and co-founder of Zefi.ai. She's a Forbes under 30. Big words. And she's been leading the company in the last years of success. Aurora, can you tell us more about your story? How do you end up being an entrepreneur?
So I always loved solving problems, don't get bored, and I think like embracing every opportunity that was coming along the way brought me where I am right now. And also was pretty much lucky to find the amazing group of people I'm working with now. I studied actually architecture. That is something that is always like on top of the question list I receive. And I loved it because architecture really makes you connect the dots. And then I went for more computational one that is related to AI, big data, and that is the bridge that brought me to then just AI and now AI on qualitative feedback.
But I'm first going to tell you a little bit also to our audience about my story using AI. I think I realized that AI is not just something futuristic, but it's something that is shaping the way I work and the way I live. But the truth is, the more I use it, the more I realize that AI isn't replacing any thinking. It is reshaping the way I think. Every time I open the AI, whatever it is, I have this question in my mind. Am I healing the creativity by working with it, or am I fostering it? Aurora, in productivity, where do you see this as a way to foster our productivity or fail on it?
It's a super interesting question, and I honestly think it depends on how you use it. It's a tool, so it can be used both for automate what you're doing, and in that case, of course, you're not really thinking a lot. But if you use it to open new opportunities to really go to the next level, raise a little bit the bar, there I think that there is something positive and can definitely have an impact on your work. Of course, automating sometimes makes things easier and open also time for exploring new opportunities, so both can be good if done right. I personally sometimes use it to kind of roast my ideas. So try to get challenges and feedback on that. Then, of course, going out in the world is even better because if you have people that have particular experience, I encourage you to do that. But sometimes if you're stuck and you need something like just super quick to unblock you, I feel like it's a good way to to brainstorm. And then also to increase the quality of your delivery. So I use it also to search in larger documents than just scrape links or articles. For example, if I really do need to do a strategy, then of course I need to check all the links that gives, but also the quality of the answer is increasing, and it allows you to navigate larger documents that otherwise would take a lot of time, and probably you need a team working on that. But in this way, you can be a little bit more hands-on on the data and the decision you are taking. And this is just the chat and LLM part. Then, of course, I think that we should push applications that are based on AI and LLMs, but they go a little bit beyond the simple chat.
You spoke about brainstorm, some inspiration. Have you ever failed on using the data in the correct way?
Yes, multiple times. Sometimes, for example, not reviewing everything because I had no time and just. But it's the same thing I used to do while reading emails super fast. Yeah, you really need to check that the topic didn't misunderstand any specific point you mentioned, because of course the reply is going to be based on your question. So looking at it quickly, it's always going to look right, but then inside it there can be different ways or details that do not really apply to what you were looking for. I'd say also trying to make something, for example, now there is a trend for sales of automating all the AI, with AI, all the emails, and definitely it helps, for example, if you need to spin tags, so to create more variation of your emails to increase the deliverability. But if you trust it too much, it can bring to, for example, once it happened that AI wrote we were going to share a workspace to let them try the tool, and we don't have a free trial because we don't want to do that. But of course, if you ask AI for good ways to reduce the friction and increase the conversion of the user you write to, it's going to try to look for options out there, like the most common go-to-market techniques, because at the end of the day, it's based on the market data.
You put the two very important points that happen also to me, right? Like one is the trust, the trust of the information, and the second one is to consolidate the information in the right way, right? Like because it's an LLM, is so the whole thing needs to be rechecked and reviewed and everything for productivity and for making it more easy for others to use it. How do you see that the prompting needs to be organized?
So in general, I say at least these two techniques can be helpful. First one, the second layer of kind of asking AI to check the
Verified for
results that it creates.
the result.
Yeah, exactly. Are you sure it's like right what you mentioned? And it comes as force to do a deep search instead of just doing a first layer of RAG of extracting the closest results. And the second one would be to provide the link of the sources that were mentioned.
That's a great hint. This is the way we used AI, both of us, and we build things. Let's jump a little bit on how Zefi.ai is working. How are you building the structure of the solution for the customers that you're working with?
That's interesting because it's kind of the opposite of Gen AI. So we started from the fact that nowadays a lot of information are generated, but sometimes we don't think about the fact that understanding the question is really what makes the reply really good quality and accurate. And we decided to do it on customer feedback, on discovering what are their needs, their the things they're asking about. And we do it by structuring unstructured data. So this qualitative data, all the things they write, the ticket they open, but also the transcript of the calls with them that you generated, or the chatbot conversation, because nowadays we are also talking to AI built by companies. All this data, we find a way to put them in a common structure, even if they come from different sources, different departments, and make them something you can take a data-driven decision. So how many times are you speaking about a certain topic, even if you're mentioning it with different words, or the sentiment, other KPIs that are a little bit more related to the type of question you're doing, the type of feedback you're giving, if you're likely to churn, or if you're interested in the product. All these shadows that allow the company to then leverage all this data that otherwise are just getting lost because they're not numbers, but they have even more insight inside them.
I love the frame of Zefi.ai, the goal of transforming users' voice into value. What does that mean?
We want really to have an impact on the companies we work with. So we don't just stop to the analytics layer. We want really to close the feedback loop. That then is kind of weird to say, because we really believe in continuous discovery. So in making never settle the product team, the customer experience team in the challenge of creating perfect experiences. So we want also to measure the impact that we have on the company. This means, for example, you are detecting through our platform or another system that there is a problem regarding a specific stage of the customer journey. Like, for example, your user is not able to use your new function because the amount of data they put into that is blocking it. And then you implement something that allows them to select a range of data to then use that MCP new function. And after this, we're able to track if the number of feedback that was complaining about the function is increasing or decreasing, if more people are using that function. So if you're creating more revenues, if you're reducing churn, this is for us something that has an impact on the business, on the company, and where we see that feedback from the user can really create value. I don't know if
It is super interesting. I like it. How do you relate this to the impact measurement tools that are existing in the market? Is there any relationship? How do you match make them?
definitely, because first of all, we integrate with all the tools that are the SaaS and the internal application used by other companies. And then we also push the data that we structure back into this system. So it's kind of a cooperation. We really believe that sprawl of SaaS can be a challenge, but can also bring value. Sometimes the quantitative data combined, filling the gap with the qualitative one can really give a valuable insight. So for example, you seeing a metric drop in, I mentioned the usage of a feature, but could be whatever, the revenues, the KPI on time of the engine to reply, something like that. But this number is super important to give you an alert, but it doesn't tell you why this is happening. And so you can go in the qualitative feedback and look for the answer. So I see it as a cooperation.
Yeah, I love that context of a cooperation between one and the other one. Let me understand better if there is a cooperation also from the companies with you. Do they see it in a fluent way?
I hope so. No, no, definitely yes. Because at the beginning we start working with a single stakeholder. So we have this person that usually is an ambassador. We really build a good relationship with them. We cooperate a lot. But then once he or she starts bringing this insight in the company, he starts spreading a little bit the tool, because maybe, something is coming up regarding the user experience. So he shares it with the UX research and asks to do a project, a deep dive into the topic, or he shares it with the customer support team if there was a problem with the service. They are given a different reply from how the tool is currently working with the latest release. These people are starting getting aware that there is this new tool, Zefi, in their house. And so they're starting getting curious. They all also want to know. They want to leverage it for their own work. And so usually this creates kind of a network effect, or at least, let's say, we receive other departments that then start using the tool. And I think that creating, like democratizing the access to feedback, the silos a little bit, this knowledge is super important.
So, Aurora, in this context of working with different firms, do you see a challenge that you sometimes miss something? And what did you learn out of that?
Well, we see a lot of challenges, to be honest, and we love our work due to that. One recent one was starting building a lot for a single customer that we were super sure to close, and we really thought that there was a perfect use case that we could build with them before they signed something. So we had a very close relationship, and we designed the roadmap because they started trying the tool. We discussed the pricing, everything, and we started working. And this made them assume that they could work with us even without the contract. And when we arrived to the point to kind of formalize the thing, they didn't put a budget. They hadn't put a budget on our tool, so they couldn't
They couldn't
basically pursue the
they couldn't
contract.
continue.
Yeah, I mean, they we could have left them access the tool for free, but we also have some costs, and we are also shifting from a very early stage to a more structured approach. And we need to make it sustainable in the long term. So definitely we will be hoping to work with them in the future to have a kind of collaboration, but we cannot give them the full service because we can really see that it makes a change in the company. And we're working every day more in computing the ROI because it's hard. It's something that could open you an opportunity that could be huge or could help you with the details. So it depends really on how you use it. But yeah, that was a challenge also for the team, in the mood, like keeping up the mood, even with these things happening. I think it's normal. But
How painful was
it's
for the
easy.
team to realize that they work many hours, like they dedicate a lot of time? What happened internally?
More, if I need to say, I expected a little bit a low, like not so much pain, while it was quite strong for them, because it's hard to accept when you do everything right, and at the end of the day, it's just a signature, and maybe that was more on the sales part and on the team that was doing the
Production.
onboarding. That was exactly. It's hard to accept, so not easy, but we always try to convert challenges into new energy, learnings for the future. So we try to stay positive.
It happens to me many times also that, I'm in a negotiation. You're building the relationship, right? Like, so, and I mean, we do relationships and business with humans. We like to interact with them. You sit down, you dedicate time, you go further, you go in different stages of the negotiation, let's call it, and you get a little bit attached sometimes. In terms of the use of productivity tool for that, how do you manage those type of mental things, frustration in the team? Is there anything that you are also involve them to use? What are the mechanics that happen internally?
So, first of all, on the productivity side, let's say we set it up automation that is reminding us, even if we receive the green light, if we have a roadmap, all the meetings, everything positive, to check also the signatures, the admin stuff. On the other side, on the mood one, we implemented before, since the beginning, a kind of gamification, because we are very much like all the team is made of people that are super hard worker, and we tend not to celebrate good things and to focus more on the bad ones and how to fix them and how to reach the next milestone and not like we don't think a lot about the previous one. That is good. I love it as a mentality, but sometimes you also need to celebrate what you achieved. So we inserted this kind of wheel of every time we reach a goal. we have this virtual wheel with some jokes, so good and bad prices, but also bad prices are kind of funny. So we try to officialize this moment. And I feel like that AI automation can remind you about these little things that in the day by day jobs can get a little bit excluded because they don't look urgent, they don't look a priority, but in the long term they are, because you need to keep the team super engaged and super motivated.
I'm wondering, what are the prices?
Well, for example, once we closed a very large contract with a car dealer that has a lot of resellers across Europe.
Yeah.
And so one of the prices was trying to find one of their car and taking a picture and posting it in the public channel.
Oh, wow.
So
That's very specific. Okay.
yes, and others were negative ones. So, for example, we know there are some tasks that we need to do, like update, cleaning the workspaces sometimes, and those were the bad pricing. So we were choosing a person to do that, and others were gadgets or discounts by the customers we close, or even choosing their activity for the next retreat. And one chose, by the way, to cook pasta, and we did it.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's super cool. Speaking about cooking, I need to say it, right? Like, we are both passionate about Peruvian food. How do you use this concept of cooking, mastering AI, and building the team kind of connection? Do you, I mean, guys, build something around also your personal passion and how this can be transmitted to other founders of companies?
Hey, it's a nice question. I was thinking while you were mentioning it, two types of food. One is like, when they say melting pot, salad pot, there is like the causa limeña, no, that is made of different layers. But then when you taste it, it's like it's amazing, the taste of it, with like a little bit of lime, a little bit of creamy potatoes. It's the combination of different ingredients that make it special.
Yeah.
So we try to have different characters in the team so that they complement each other, and we try to kind of support these differences. So if we see that you are better at one thing than another, we try to encourage you to mentor other people on that, and maybe to accept the help of somebody else on the thing that you need to master. And regarding ceviche, I think it's the time is something that staying with this little lime and cook a little bit while growing the company is what creates the culture. Staying connected, work together, at the end is what defines it more than top-down values. It's more something bottom-up. So of course, you need to take good fish to make it good, because otherwise it doesn't work. But I think we are very lucky on this because we created a great team, and then good people attract other good people. Because
It's amazing. And really, I get like completely involved in this creation of, the causa limeña and the ceviche and the way of preparation, time, and mixing things, right? Like, so I really understand that perspective. How those others, founders, can master those kind of things by using AI productivity tools.
yeah, so try to maybe automate what is not really important for you. In this way, you can free up space, because time is like really a huge variable in early stage founders, because we don't have a lot of resources. So AI can be actually one of your resources to all the things that you can do, the back office things, the things that are not customer facing. They can be automated so that then you have more time to dedicate to your team. Like doing one-to-one is something that you need to do in person, but maybe scheduling them is something that you can automate. So I think like combining these two things so that one can support the other, it's a good mix. What do you think?
Thanks for the taking back that question to me. I think that one of the key elements is to understand what are the type of things that will incentivize the use of these tools. To, like for me personally, is like the discipline on specific things. I will say just like this, how to manage finance, the discipline to, get every day into a tool that can help you understanding what do you need to pay when, or stuff that can also give you discipline on the workouts, right? Like doing some sports, whatever you are doing, that can get you to that level of understanding of why you are doing this. And if you extrapolate a little bit, is on governance, right? Like in a big company, what you need is all the different companies, positions, and also groups need to interact for the, in the end, the big picture, the governance take a decision that is aligned with each of the department, and that everyone can, thrive together. I think that's kind of on my end. Like, thanks for that, and I think that's the way I should also use it on the long term.
Yeah, I was thinking while you were like commenting this thing that on the strategy level, what we did is really to change some processes in order to facilitate the adoption of AI while keeping the quality at a good level. One of these was, for example, the user interface, really creating a system design that is made up more like a prompt, something that you can use when you build code, when you create interfaces with new tools that are emerging in the marketing for kind of mixing vibe coding, with like having a proper architecture and a coherent structure. So I definitely think what you mentioned, it's applicable at different levels. Um, it's a good challenge.
Yeah. And thinking about these different layers, if you could double click on some of the founders' adoptions, and getting into something that is more underrated and that AI productivity tools can bring, what would that be?
So everything that is regarding transcript of calls, you do a lot of calls and you don't have a lot of time to kind of structure them, reflect on them, but it's super important. So what, for example, I found super interesting is having them summarized automatically and then clustered by maybe notebook LM, so that if I need to just find the call I was, let's say, talking about a specific topic, or my customers were talking about a specific topic, I can do that with an easier tool without having a proper VOC or something like that. There are a lot of tools out there in the market for early stage founders, likely. And then on the other side, also producing content to make you visible in the market. Of course, you need professional, you need people that know how to keep it consistent, create a brand that is completely different from just creating content. But on the other side, we now have the opportunity to have more resources. I think that before was impossible for an early stage startup, thanks to some of these tools. Creating videos, creating images, crafting concepts is something that, for example, even if I'm not a front-end developer, I can now do to convey something to my team without investing too much time on it. Then, of course, it needs to be a draft. Yeah, it's never nothing that can substitute the proper outcome, but it can help you communicate.
I think it was an interview about Sam Altman. Like for those who doesn't know, is the CEO of OpenAI. And he mentions that the power of AI lies in not into replacing humans or doing something different. It's more on amplifying the human creativity. AI is not replacing people. People who use AI will replace people who are not using it, right? Like, so with this, I'm closing our very interesting discussion about like the use of AI and the functions on a business, and how you can be more productive on your business. Now I'm jumping directly to the pitch. So, Aurora, please, the stage is yours, and we would love to hear your pitch.
Thank you, Rike. So as you mentioned before, we create value from customer feedback. That means, first of all, bringing together all the conversation that a company has with their clients, and then structure all this unstructured data in order to give insights on the product and customer experience. On these insights, you can create incredible actions to align your stakeholders or feel your customer more, you feel your customer closer to you in order to really build something people want. It sounds easy. It's a challenge in companies, especially in bigger companies, because they have different departments, and it's crazy that the people that are taking the decision on the strategy, on the product, and the customer piece are not talking with their customers. But it's another thing that you can leverage being an early stage startup, like really get this in-person interaction with your customers.
Let me give you a first straightforward feedback. How this business is going to grow. I'm lacking a little bit the understanding of the business strategy from a perspective of an investor. Where are we going with this type of businesses? How do you attract the potential markets that you see right now? Everyone is now speaking about AIs and tools, and like how to be more productive with them. Are we also seeing these kind of bubble momentum where nobody is taking a look of how much cap intense these industries and how much you need to invest on it to actually get a real product and a real solution? What it's missing for me is all that understanding, and what I would like to hear from a perspective again of an investor is how the long term vision is looking like. Right now it's great. Zefi is good. Is a business that and honestly I'm hooked because I love what you're doing. But what is the long term vision that you see on the business, right? Like, so in 10 years from now, what is going to happen with this?
Sure. So on the defensibility is something that, let's say, AI startup think a lot nowadays. And on our side, the first part, it's the fact that we decided to stay on a place in which the fact that AI generates more data, integrates more data is even better for us because it creates noise that we can put an order on. Like, we are a platform where you can track in time and get consistent replies on your customer feedback, while AI is built on statistical relevance, and it changes for how it is built, the reply, every time you ask for it. And it gives you other unstructured data that are good for us because we can ingest them too. So it's like structuring this unstructured data. I think it's something that it's powered a little bit by AI itself, because nowadays you have even more text. Like before you were taking notes from a call, now you have the transcript, so even harder to structure because it's longer, it's full of noise, and we can clean it and kind of create a database from that unstructured text. Then I feel like that if you are working on a need that your users have, that you can use the technology to answer to their need. So it's, of course, in 10 years, it's going to be shaped in many different ways because everything is going to change. But the need is something that is a root cause, something that moves the market, and especially somebody that buys your product and tells you what they think about that is fundamental in the economy. Otherwise, we basically, we need to think about a society where anything else is moving. It's kind of the machine at the end of the day. Our own need moves the market.
I like your approach of the society. All the society is going to be using this, they want it or not. We need to prepare ourselves for the different opportunities to use it. How do we do this between the different generations? The Generation C that learn this while they are growing up, and the older generations that are less connected with the technology, and the new generations that it will be even fully automated. Maybe what we will see is like an AI that grows with you when you're really a baby.
I think we should think more about this. It's a great question. I don't have an absolute reply. I think we should do a lot more research on these topics. Regulation can help. On the other side, I can tell you that I have, for example, a younger sister. So I saw that it's super present in their life, in their home schools and everything. Also, having professors that know how it works, what's behind it, and teach them to put it in discussion, to build their own set of thinking, set of thoughts, and their own opinion without always waiting for a reply. Not because otherwise they tend to be a little bit passive. No, you ask and you get a reply. Sometimes you need to look for that, because maybe you're not even the reply you're receiving for AI is not enough. Otherwise, we stop innovating. While we need to use it not just as an answer but as a tool. And for older people, I think it's even more a challenge because first of all, they get amazed by it, and I see it a little bit with my parents. And on the other side, they have a lot of potential because they had to get an answer to their reply even before maybe internet was there, so you couldn't even ask to Google. So they have this mindset of, if I have a question, I need to look for the answer somewhere, somehow, but I can't just open my phone and find the reply. So mixing the two words, and especially people building now, like who is at the center, these two words, can be again the key. It is going to have a huge impact on society. We are already seeing it with companies and layoffs and everything, startups growing super fast in few months. So it's something that we continue. We need to discuss. We need to bring it more to the table, like we're doing. So I think this is also a positive thing.
Fully agree with you, and I think we need to push our society, especially the politicians, the people ruling the government, a little bit into how to build things that are for the benefit of all the citizens. And the only example that I right now have is this Swiss approach of the public infrastructure for public good. It is a project from the ETH, Zurich, and the EPFL that actually got announced recently. I think it was July or something like this, 2025, to actually build a platform based on that. What is the development entirely on the public infrastructure? This will help other cities, other countries to also see these as a kind of a national way of working on things using AI, right? Like so, and I believe that more and more we need to scale it and help other countries, other regions to build their own global collaboration, right? Like I think this possibility of having examples in different countries on how to rule this can help many other places growth and especially the citizens being part of more balanced society. Thank you very much. It has been an amazing discussion. I think we can take a coffee and continue for hours, you and me, on this thing. But I mean, on the last point, and just to close on this, what will be your last invitation for the community to join us on this use of AI for productivity? And on your experience, how do they need to fail maybe on using it?
So first of all, try to achieve you never achieved without AI. So if you have something that you have been, and I have a lot of these points that you've been trying to do, to put in your schedule or to follow the routine and you couldn't make it, try to see if AI can help you somehow in achieving that, not just through automation, but there are a lot more opportunities. Failing, I'd say try to check it. So try to see something you did in the past, or try to put something on autopilot, and I'm sure something super funny will happen at least. It's not because it's not ready, but of course it doesn't have all the context you have, at least right now, and hopefully in the future as well, because we need to keep things, let's say, balanced.
So that's a wrap on the episode of Pitch Lab, where bold ideas meet the real work of turning them into impact. Now it's your turn. Head to the Friends of Bata LinkedIn page or use the link in the show notes and vote for your favorite Gen Z founder. Your vote counts for 50% of the final score. The other half comes from our mentors and jury. The winners join our Pitchers of Honor Hall, receive hands-on support from our expert coaches and mentors, including myself and a Forbes 30 under 30 founder, plus access to Let's Group Ventures Factory to sharpen their model, scale smarter, and cut costs. And yes, there is a cash prize too, because every milestone should be celebrated. So cast your vote, share the love, and thank you for supporting founders who turn challenges into growth. I am Enrique, and this is Pitch Lab. See you next time.